The Star Wars universe gave us some of the most iconic movies of all time. In fact, if you adjust for inflation, the original Star Wars movie is still one of the highest grossing movie releases of all time. But it feels like every movie they release just seems to get a little bit worse. And ever since Disney took over the movie series, every movie that comes out just doesn't seem to capture the original Star Wars spirit that I used to love. Sure, they've had some great releases. The Mandalorian is an amazing series I would highly recommend to everyone who loves the originals, as well as Rogue One, which closes up that ancient plot hole of why one blast can blow up the entire Death Star. That's finally being resolved and in a really satisfying way. But it seems like the other movies like Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker just can't seem to capture that original Star Wars spirit. In fact, it seems like a Han Solo movie did nothing except tell us that Chewbacca used to eat people, and Last Jedi told us that Luke, our beloved, hopeful hero, ended up seeing the good in everyone, including his evil father, Darth Vader, but not being able to see hope in his young teenage nephew. But what I want to talk about in this video is what the new Star Wars series has been doing with the Force, and how every time they add a little bit to it, it seems to be taking away from the whole series. So if you're out there, I hope you got your lightsabers and blasters ready for this episode of Constant Review. The original Star Wars series had a lot of different powers that Force users could use. One of the most obvious ones is telekinesis and their ability to move things with the Force, as well as a level of precognition that showed that Jedis didn't need to use their eyes or even their ears to be able to see an attack coming. They also had the ability of telepathy, in which people who were Force sensitive could talk over large distances, the ability to affect other people's minds to a degree, and the ability to jump really high, which I don't think we can neglect. There was also definitely a couple less subtle Jedi powers, including the ability to become a Force ghost and appear as a ghost in the Star Wars world, or the dark side powers, including Force choke and Force lightning, which were definitely far less subtle than the ones the Jedi have previously been using. The prequels didn't actually introduce much more to the Force powers. Force speed is introduced in the prequels, though it's only shown once, and apart from that, there isn't a lot of new Force powers that we can even take away from the prequel series. Now enter the sequels and the Rey trilogy. In these movies, we're introduced to a plethora of new Force powers, some of which right off the start. Force freeze, the ability for Sith to break people's minds and steal their memories, the ability to astral project your body across untold amount of space in the Star Wars universe, the ability to teleport physical objects, and the ability to heal seemingly any wound with the Force. Not to mention, the ghosts that had been previously introduced to us back in Empire now have a massive power upgrade where it appears that Force ghosts can interact with the physical world, being able to hold lightsabers, being able to hit people, being able to cause lightning, and to be able to use the Force to lift up X-Wings that are buried underwater. And I don't even want to get started on another tangent about how in the new series it doesn't appear that you need any training to be able to use these Force powers. We can see Rey repetitively use powers that she has not even really heard about, and she manages to get them right on her first or second try, including the Jedi mind trick and accidentally performing the lightning power, to which we have no idea why that would even happen, especially without her not intending to do it. Even at the end of the movie, Kylo Ren is able to force heal Rey, and this appears to be the first time he's ever attempted to use this power. So, him being able to do this is completely out of the blue. We also see Leia using the Force to be able to walk in space without a spacesuit, and this just completely boggles the mind at how this is possible.
We'll use the Force. That's not how the Force works.
What was originally a really subtle part of the Star Wars universe that kind of propelled the characters to meeting their destiny and accomplishing their fate is now a very active part of the Star Wars universe that can seemingly do anything and has very little to no limitations whatsoever. At this point, the Force is just magic, and we have to assume that no rules are valid because the Force can just do anything, and for all we know, the Force can do way more than we've even seen, especially in the fact that they're making an upcoming trilogy in the next few years. The advancements in the Force also render a lot of Star Wars technology completely obsolete. For example, what's the point of even having holograms and being able to talk to each other over Skype when Jedis literally have a Force Skype where they can actually see each other and deliver objects between each other using the Force? With the massive upgrades and improvements to the Force in the recent movies, it's unsurprising that Star Wars fans like me are feeling a huge draw to movies that don't use the Force, or if they do, use it in a much subtler way. In the movie Rogue One, there are no Force users throughout the entire movie. The only person who actually has any seeming degree of Force sensitivity is Chirrut, and even Chirrut does not actively use or actively manipulate the Force. Instead, he just believes that the Force will preserve and protect his destiny, and therefore believes strongly in it and was able to use the Force to guide his actions. In The Mandalorian, the only active Force user we see is Baby Yoda. And to be fair, just like the new movie trilogy, Baby Yoda is occasionally seen to use Force powers without any training. But I think us as fans are more willing to accept this because Baby Yoda is 50 years old, and also, he's adorable. So, it's okay. But more importantly, Baby Yoda's actions are not a huge driving factor to the plot, and for the most part, the plot is maintained by the actions of Mando and what happens in the rest of the universe. So guys, those are my thoughts. What do you think? Did you guys love the new Force powers, or do you think that they fully break the Star Wars canon? Let me know in the comments below, and let me know on your thoughts for other Star Wars videos.